Update 5.5 has arrived in Marvel Strike Force. Is this latest update a hit or is it a miss? It's also brought around some economy changes to gold, ISO 8, and gear. Do these changes go far enough to relieve players from bottlenecks? And there's changes to the Blitz store coming and a lot more that we're discussing in Data Mines with my brother Philosopher. And if you're ready for this and the rest of your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel, and I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're liking this update 5.5 in Marvel Strike Force. I have some thoughts on it, and I'm going to share those thoughts with my brother Philosopher for your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. Philosopher, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. You know, I'll tell you, whenever we have a bug-free patch, I'm doing great.
I love these bug-free patches, and bug-free patches, it hasn't happened for a while now. But yeah, this one is relatively bug-free. I mean, there's some minor ones that I think got fixed pretty quickly. But yeah, just as far as reacting to this update, before I talk about your reaction to this update, what were your thoughts on the last two updates? 5.4 with the changes to the Doom raids, the ISO 8 requirements, and then 5.3 that brought Kestrel and Heroes for Hire. What did you think of those two updates?
You know, I gotta say, very concerned about the over-the-top power creep. I think it's had good and bad impacts in the game. I think it's good for new players. Really changed the new player experience because they've gotten access to some of these characters. But definitely,
you're talking the power creep is good for new players.
Yeah, because new players, there's new players that I've been helping who literally have 4 of the Infinity Watch characters plus Kestrel, and they're just rolling over everything because they have the same teams you and I are using, right?
Yeah.
So it's changed the game a lot. It was some for better, some for worse. But then, you know, the Doom raid stuff I think really hurt a lot of players, hurt alliances. Really upset a lot of players. That was such a negative. It's almost nice to have a patch that took some time and was sleepy a little bit. Like, this is a lot less of a topsy-turvy patch.
Yeah, so I think I pretty much agree with you on the past updates. So with that said, I think I'm pretty happy with this one. No major bugs like we talked about. We don't have that regression like we did last patch with the Doom raids. The meta characters, I mean, we got some good raid characters, but I don't think there's any like necessary characters that people are going to have to go over the top for. I mean, some people won't even need this team. So I'm pretty happy with this overall. What is your overall impressions of 5.5 now that this has arrived?
Yeah, I have a similar reaction. I think the new team that's coming is good. They're going to be very strong characters. All the new characters are great, but they're not overwhelming. Like, oh my God, unless you're just a super fanboy for one of these characters, which is fine. I'm a big fan of Captain Sam. You don't really need to have any of them. Okay. And so I think that's good. I also like the fact that they're giving us some more stuff. The event was good, right? The event that's going on is good.
Yeah.
Those new challenges are good. Going to give people some additional gear. You know, they're making orange gear very plentiful, of course, which means that there's some new gear, you know, red gears on the way or something. But at least I think people are feeling less of a crunch right now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, to me, the major things in this update are the changes to the ISO 8 economy, the changes to the gold economy, and these new challenges, which, yeah, you need ISO 8 to get it fully maxed out, but that helps the gold crunch. So I think the major things from this update is not some of the negative thing. I think it's changes to the economy, and we'll get further into that a little more. Any other overarching thoughts before we get into more of the specifics of this update?
No, but I will say I agree with you on that ISO change. That's huge.
I didn't notice how big. I didn't notice how big it was when I saw it on paper until it went live yesterday. I was like, this is really good. I took 3 characters up to level 5 just last night. So, but we will get into that. I want to talk about Sharon Carter first, though. I'm sure you've unlocked her, played with her. And I want to talk about her as a standalone character because we will talk about the Secret Vendor team. But what is your thoughts now without Captain Sam, without Maria Hill in the game? Have you used her in the Doom raids? And what is your impression of this character as checking her out firsthand?
Yeah, so I brought her to difficulty 1 of the Doom Raid yesterday. There's a video on my channel you could see. She just did okay. I mean, first of all, she's just like yours. She's like 3 star. I mean, I think mine's 3 stars. Okay, because I got lucky at an orb pull. But you know what I'm saying. So mine's G15 and it's got some blue ISO on her, but she's still only 3 stars. She was okay. I mean, what I think is as a standalone character, the thing that I do like about her is she has some good control. The stun and the ability block. And on the second skill node, I've been bringing really ever since I've been doing it, Zemo and Taskmaster, just because there's a lot of upfront ultimates that come out. So you have Doctor Strange flipping you, and you have the enemy Taskmaster and so forth.
Strange, those are the most annoying ones. Everybody else is not that bad. Strange and Taskmaster, I think, are the 2 worst in that node.
Oh, the 2 are the worst. They flip and everything. So having her there means you might not need to gear up Zemo. And right now everyone's like, I love Zemo, but you know, in 3 months or 4 months when a new player is coming to the Doom Raid, they might be happy to be gearing up Sharon Carter for their Secret Adventure team instead.
Yeah, you mentioning Zemo, I think that when you're looking at it as sort of standalone, not in that full Secret Avengers team, that's the character that I was targeting to replace. And I think she does offer some good things over Zemo. Obviously, Zemo with his speed, with his big AoE, with his on spawn, he offers some good things, but she offers some decent things as well with a lower turn cooldown for her ability block, only 4 turn cooldown here, and then she has a stun and a slow. So kind of combining the best things of Taskmaster and Zemo, so maybe combining everything in one character. Any other uses for Sharon Carter as a standalone character that you could see other than raids?
Not really. I mean, I think that for new players, if they can get their hands on these 3 characters, combining them with like Gamora and Nebula is going to get them through a lot of content, right? These sort of characters at the power creep stats are going to just blow through the old content. So I think for newer players, it's going to be helpful for that.
You think these, we'll get to the Secret Vendors, but I do want to ask you, so you think they're going to just cakewalk through Ultimus 7.5 and lower?
Yeah, because the stats are so high for these characters. So I think that I don't know if they'll cakewalk through 7.5, but they're strong characters where, hey, if you're working your way through, the Heroes campaign and you happen to get your new player, you happen to get Sharon Carter, I think she's going to be a fine character to get you through that campaign.
Gotcha. All right. She's going to be available for free-to-play players in her event. And as we're recording this, 8 more days and a few hours for this event. And you're going to need a Saboteur trait for that. A lot of these events for players that have been playing for a while, pretty easy. You could just pretty much get your highest powered characters and auto through this. For players that have been playing for a while, would you prefer to see some of these events a little harder, like a harder tier just for some bonus, maybe some gold or something, just for the experience of playing these missions and looking forward to the challenge of it, rather than just, all right, this is auto, this is something more to grind through? Or do you just like the grinding and want the gear? What would you prefer?
I actually like the storyline. Before I was streaming, well, now that I stream, people don't want to sit there and watch me watch the cut streams. Like I used to like watch every cut scene and admire some of the witty dialogue. No one, I think, wants to watch me do that anymore. But I think it's kind of nice, and I do miss. A year ago when I was kind of working on my account up, I did have to build characters for these events. And new players are doing that, by the way. They're like trying to, figure out if they can get carried through the event. But there's enough good characters here, like you said. I think every experienced player is not going to have trouble because they can bring their Kestrel or their Gamora and Nebula or whatever, right? Yeah.
And would you like to see an additional tier though? Even if the rewards aren't that great, maybe some gold, maybe one Armory 14 orb or Armory 15 orb, something very menial, but just for the challenge of like, hey, this is hard content. I want hard content to play. I'm looking forward to the next event because I'll have more hard content. Do you think that would make it a little more enticing for you, or at this point you just want to go easy? I like easy.
You know what? I actually like the idea as long as the reward is something that is like a title or a visual thing. I had no problem. For them, for example, giving you all these rings around your avatar. If you complete Dark Dimension 4, 15 times. I don't want to have to do that, but I think it's cool if people feel the need to. I mean, it would be great if we got different visual things. If you, for example, do a speed run, or you, like you said, complete a harder challenge version of events or something like that, right? That I think would be a cool addition to the game that would, frankly, breathe some new life into the content that they've already created.
Yeah, because for me, these events are just like, all right, it's more resources, it's some shards for the new character, but it's not really content that I'm playing because I'm autoing through the whole thing. And even if I use like the bottom of my roster, like, I mean, maybe not the bottom, but the mid part of my roster, I could probably still auto through this. So I think I would like to see that. But let's talk about this orb, because this orb has Coulson here, has Sam Wilson. I think the Datamite says they're not going to be in it, but what is going on with this image here? There's some pretty decent characters in there, but they're not in the orb. Is there any characters that you are still missing in this orb? Is this orb appealing to you at all besides the Sharon Carter unlock here?
Yeah, it's not appealing to me at all personally, but I'm not a good example. I think for a lot of players, though, Bishop is particularly if you're a free-to-play player or you didn't do well in those initial blitzes. Bishop is very hard to acquire, so I think that's an important character for newer players. And then look, there's still, multiple mana is an unlock requirement. Ghost is a War Store unlock requirement. So I think both of them are going to be useful characters, right, for a lot of folks as well. Yeah. And then Zemo for new players, although even though he's Raid Store available, I think for new players is a good character to get.
Yeah, this is usually these orbs have a lot of the older characters, but some good characters, and I think Bishop and I think Sharon Carter are going to be the two big prizes, even for longer time players. And then newer and mid-game players, there's a lot of good stuff here. Moving on, though, let me talk about this Secret Avengers team as a whole. What do you think about this Secret Avengers team? Who is this team for? And we talked about the devs. This team was designed specifically for current content in the Doom Raids, which was surprising because I know you're clearing the current content in the Doom Raids. I know some other people are clearing the current content in the Doom Raids. I'm not really having trouble with this before the Secret Avengers team. So who needs this Secret Avengers team?
Wow. And I don't know if anyone needs it. That's the
nobody needs it.
It's answering a problem that's not, it's like an answer to the question you're not asking. It's like, right, like what's the problem that this is here to fix? I actually think that people were complaining like 4 months ago about how hard the skill portion of the Doom Raid was before Kestrel came out. And maybe they heard those cries 4 months ago and then they put together this team. And by the time they did, Kestrel solved the problem for us. I don't know. If you're a new player and are newer to the Doom Raids and you haven't built up your skill characters, these are some good skill characters to build up. But Kestrel makes this pretty much the easiest section of the Doom Raid. So until Doom 2 comes out or another difficulty comes out, you don't really need them for raids. But they're good characters. They're going to do well in war. They're going to do well in other places,
You know what? I think you're right. I think they heard the cries from 4 months ago before Kestrel was announced. They're like, you know what? They need some help with these skill lanes. Let's get it as soon as possible. And 4 months later, we got this team like, but you've already given us the solution. But there are newer players. Hopefully they become farmable very soon for newer players that could get this team and use them on some of the earlier raids. And that would be a good recommendation. That's what I'm hoping. Hopefully they have a plan. I didn't seem like they had that, but hopefully that's what the plan is for this team. But a lot of players that are already in the Doom, I don't know if this is going to be a required team. I think this is more of a fun team. But that's kind of the thing of the update. Not a lot of required things, and I think that's a decent thing. Any other thoughts on this Secret Avengers team? Are you going to go hard for this team? I know you don't need them, but is this a team that you think maybe down the road players would need?
Yeah, I like this team for some other reasons. I mean, one thing, I'm a Captain America fan, and I love that show, the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. So I'm excited about Captain Sam, and I actually think his character is going to have a long shelf life because giving away ability energy and turn meter and stuff like that, I think, those are some really good aspects of his kit that I think will stand the test of time. So I'm excited about him. And then, the other two characters, I think Maria Hill's cleanse is good for shield and Avengers cleansing the negative effect. So, and as we talked about Sharon Carter, she's got this stun and ability block. I mean, they're good characters, so I'm happy to have them. I'm glad to have them. But I think that for a lot of folks who went super hard on Infinity Watch, unless you had, insane resources, this is a month where you can kind of recoup a little bit.
So this was like the X-Force after the Black Order, if we're talking about last year.
Yeah,
that's good, but not really necessary. I mean, all right. I didn't talk to you about Maria Hill specifically. Her kit was revealed earlier this week. Any thoughts on that? Just off the top of your head, do you prefer Maria Hill, Moondragon, or Night Nurse in those skill sections of the Doom raids? Who do you think you're going to be tempted to bring in?
Wow, it's like that meme. Why not both, right?
Let's bring all healers in the lane.
Yeah, right. Well, here's the thing. I think one of the issues with this that Scopely's done, I don't know what they're thinking is, they give us 3 Secret Avenger characters, and then there's these 2 Gamorrean and Moondragon you'd want to use together. But then you got to use Kestrel with the Secret Avengers. So who do you have as the 5th character? Who knows? I don't know who the 5th character is going to be. Is it going to be Night Nurse? Is it going to be Right Guardian? Is it going to be some Damager? I don't know. But I know if you want to run the Secret Avengers, you're probably going to run Kestrel. Could be Fury. I don't know. So we're going to have to figure that out, I think.
You know what? With all these selection of skill characters now the problem is there's too many skill characters to fit on the field. I think you're right. This was planned 4 months ago as a solution to Doom raids. They've given us many solutions since then, and now people are like, what is the best one? I mean, I guess we got a lot of solutions. Let's just have fun with it, because let's just test out different things every day, because there's so many options in skill now.
Yeah. I'm running out of skill gear. I've been farming skill gear like crazy, right? I think we all are. There's a lot of skill heroes this year. I don't know why.
Hoard your skill, guys. It's because of the Doom raids. It's because they split up. And they're like, oh, we didn't have enough good skill. So I guess Mystic will be next, because there's not a lot of great Mystic healers in the Doom raids. Let's talk about ISO 8. This was something that was pretty big. Got announced. I didn't see how big it was. This is good. But when it went live yesterday, that's when I was like, oh, this is huge. The increase in the crystals, this double, combined with the fact that the mission refreshes are higher. I didn't really notice the ions, but the double crystals and the mission refreshes, 20 instead of 10. That was huge for me. Did this affect your roster at all, these changes?
Oh, yeah. Actually, even for me, I mean, first of all, look, I haven't had I had bought some of the early ISO offers. I haven't bought ISO offers in a while now. And I had saved up ISO energy for a day or so in anticipation for this. And man,
smart.
Just to me, the refreshes alone are just huge, because I don't know about you, but what happens to me is there'll be one piece that I don't need. For Protector, I have everything, but there's one piece. So I was spending cores refreshing the one node that would give me that. So to not have to, I don't have to use 50 cores to refresh anymore. You get a free refresh.
This is so good. Node.
It's huge.
All right, so now the big question. If these changes went live in 5.4 at the same time, not even before Doom went live, if the changes to these went live at the same time as Doom, do you think the community would still be as mad as they were when 5.4 was released?
They would have been upset, but not nearly as much. And I think, I would like to say, Valley, that, this is just, they had a snafu, but I really think what happened is they screwed up. They did not expect this backlash, and people like us and others, many players who complained, and many of whom stopped playing or reduced their spending or reduced their game time. I think it had an impact on these guys.
I mean, let's be frank. We both of us have said this many times. They didn't have a plan for 2021. Now it looks like they kind of have some medium-term plans going forward, but everything seems so random in this whole year. So I'm glad they say they have a plan. It looks like it appears they have a plan, but everything was super random before this and not really planned out correctly, in my opinion. But not only did we get some great changes to ISO 8, and I think this helps the economy so much, and I'm glad they're finally here. We also got these new challenges, which in my mind, is designed to help with the gear crunch. Now, you do need ISO 8 and, at least level 3, but level 4 and level 5 for the higher level of challenges. But I think this is great for players that are just still struggling to get into Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 3, or maybe not 2, but 3 and 4. This is designed, I think, to help them get through that quicker. What was your reaction when you saw this in the blog post a few weeks ago, and when you actually were playing this and checking out the difficulty last night?
Well, my first reaction was this is what they should have done instead of requiring the ISO for the Doom Raid. If they had just made it so, hey, you get a bunch of free stuff, but you need to get your ISO up on your characters, then everyone would have had a choice. You want free stuff? Like, you couldn't complain, right? Because you're it's not like you have less than you had before. It's like, hey, do you want some free gear? Okay, put ISO on your characters. Like, that's the way they should be going. And it's hard to complain about this. It's just some additional gear. Like I said, what it tells me is red gear and DD5 and all that are on the way soon. But
that was my next question.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Within 2 to 3 months, we're going to be getting red gear, DD5, $100 offer for red gear or whatever. But as for these challenges, man, I was literally on my stream last night. I'm like, okay, let's walk through what the best characters are to use for this challenge. All right, let's see. I'm gonna record this. Let's see how the challenge goes. It was like
did you say auto? Yeah, I was like, oh, new challenge, making content. I'm like, oh, this is just auto. This is not. As soon as you get the ISO on them, then you're gonna cakewalk through this. It's not. But that was my question. And you think there's something coming up? But I was gonna ask you if there's something coming up, or this is just a devs trying to ease up the crunch. But you think there is coming up? Red gear, other tiers. This is the tinfoil hat is accurate.
Yeah, I think so. So there was a data mine that says the Doom 2 raid is coming, and that the reward is red gear. And so that's the first thing. Okay, that's the first hint. Second of all, Valley, I really pay attention to Dark Dimensions. I was very into racing in DD4.
Yes.
So if you look at the Dark Dimensions, they're usually about 10 or 11 months apart. And I remember racing in December of last year. So, that would mean that, let's say October of this year, you might have a DD5, something like that. So, that might mean that next month we get an announcement that DD5 is coming in a month or two. You could imagine they're going to have to give us some way to get this gear beforehand. So yeah, I mean, that I think is coming in the next, 2-3 months, and it is what it is.
No, I do think you're right. And I think last week's blog post was a little bit of an indicator on that if you were reading between the lines, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I think very much so. Level cap and a new DD5 is coming. But hopefully these gold increases that we also got, man, we got so many economy changes to this. These gold changes, hopefully they go far enough for most of the players. Now, I haven't been struggling with gold too much. I think if you spend $1 million a day, you're pretty good. But what this is going to do is it's going to increase by about 4 million. It says 8 million here, but they're going to roll out another part of this gold update. Do you think that these changes make enough of a difference to the gold economy for players that were struggling with gold that now they could finally say, all right, we're easing up on the gold crunch. We could look at other bottlenecks, or do you think this is just like a drop in the bucket?
Yeah, in no way. This doesn't help players at all, especially
not at all.
I don't think so. Very little, because look, I think it's like 4.9 or something, or whatever it is
per month. Yeah, per month. So yeah,
per month, and that's enough to get maybe whatever, one character from level 70 to level 80, something like that. I mean, it's very. It takes a lot to get these characters up in terms of gold. And on top of that, as you pointed out, there's a discussion here about a level cap increase. So by the time they take it to 8.1 million, that's like probably not going to even cover the cost of getting all your characters up another five levels.
Now, one thing that people were mentioning about this level cap that I do want to move on to, they were saying that the last level cap, when we went from 75 to 80, there was no gold increase. And I don't remember either way. Do you remember that off the top of your head? If there was a gold increase?
There was one. I don't think there was one.
So this 4 million was for 75 to 80, and then for 80 to 85. I guess that's where we're getting at the exact same time, because they say in this blog post, the second rollout will be not too far behind, which will include the rest of the amount. So about another 4 million or so, give or take. There isn't a date for the second rollout yet, as it will happen around the same time as they increase the player level and gear tier. The team is planning ahead to ensure that when these caps increase, players will continue to make meaningful progression to your roster. Do you think that's happening in 4.6? I was thinking 4.6 when I read this the first time. Now that I'm reading it again, I'm not as sure. But when I read this the first time, I was like, oh, 4.6. They're increasing the level cap and giving us the rest of the gold. What was your impression when you read that portion of this blog post?
Yeah, I my thought process is so I'm thinking in this patch, we're gonna just use a nothing, right? This is just sort of like a chill patch.
Quality of life patch or something like that.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I'm thinking next, either they're gonna announce at the end of this month that it's coming next month, or more likely, I think they announce next month that it comes the month after. Because I remember last time they gave us some lead time. Like I remember, I had finished GD3 maybe a month or two beforehand, and then they're like, because I was a newer player, and then they're like, oh, we got GD4 coming out. And I'm like, oh my God, seriously? I just finished GD3, Jesus. And so I think and I'm sure a lot of people are going to feel that way about GD4. So that's my gut on what's going to happen.
All right. So yes, good. But we'll see what happens. This may not be as good as it seems on the surface, depending on when the level cap is increasing. But I guess the level cap is going to increase when we get the rest of the 8.1 million gold per month that they're talking about. So yes, that's we'll see what happens with it. All right. Costumes. One of the cool things that I like in this game is costumes, and I like that they're not adding stats, they're not required. They're just a fun little change. That Black Widow costume I thought was pretty fun, but we got some new ones here. We got a new one to Gamora, and I'll try to cycle through these and get your thoughts on it. Right here, we got a few other new ones to Daredevil, Captain America, Luke Cage, and one that was not announced in the blog post, the Emma Frost one. I kind of like this one. Did any of these costumes stand out for you? Or are you still? I know at one point you didn't like them. That's why. So how are you on these costumes now?
Fair enough. I'm not super jazzed about costumes. I'll tell you that much. I am a Captain America fan. I thought his new costume looked kind of cool. I actually think it looks a lot better than the existing costume or the existing thing in the game. And there's two different. If you go back to that one, look at that. You can do the shield different, which is kind of cool. So I like that. I did like that Emma Frost has got, I think, a better looking face and hair. I think the way they made her look. I just think the model wasn't quite done right the first time around, in my view, on the Emma Frost.
The facial look didn't look right on this first version.
Yeah, it looked a little off. Whereas this, I think, looks a lot better in terms of that. So I like that. Overall, look, I'm totally fine with if they want to have costumes. I think that's fine, and I think a lot of people are enjoying them. That's great. I do like that they've loosened it up a little, Valley, because in the beginning it was like, pay $50 for a costume. And to me, that's like an IQ test. I mean, if you're willing to do that, like, all more power to you, but like, come on, man. And so now they're just loosening it up, and we're all getting these costumes for better or worse. It's all fine. Although, don't you think that someday they're just going to be like, okay, now to unlock Dazzler, you're going to need 5 costumes, right? Or, don't you think they're going to do that sort of stuff in the future?
I hope not. I mean, that was the suspicion. As soon as ISO 8 was required, they're just, people weren't buying ISO 8. People weren't buying costumes. They're going to make costumes required for that. So I hope you're not right with that one. Let me ask you about this selection of these characters, though. How do you think they select these characters for costumes? They just choose, this character goes into stealth. Let's give him a costume.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? They don't select the characters that I'm actually looking at all the time. Yeah. Like stealth, I have to stealth. What are those we got? Stealth. Yeah. Well, also just characters that are like not used much. Like I have a cool costume for Vision I got in some event. I never used the character. Like it's really cool, like old timey 50s costume from WandaVision. I don't get to see it, or most of these characters we aren't using. Gamora we use, so there's
Gamora's a good one, and then I guess Emma Frost. For some people, Black Widow, and I figure you'll be able to see Avengers, Luke Cage, but yeah, the selection I got is very questionable.
Yeah, it's very, very questionable. I did like the Luke Cage costume. It looks cool, but once again, Luke Cage is only used on war defense. I don't actually play the character. So it looks awesome, but like I'm really never going to see it. I hope my opponents enjoy getting beaten up by this Luke Cage.
You're doing it for your war opponents. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it so they can enjoy when they're attacking you.
Man, don't get me started on war defense, Steve Valley.
I don't even want to talk about war right now. All right, but you mentioned this. Change. And Gamora has one. Captain America has one. Gamora has a hood or no hood. Captain America has a different shield. I think this is kind of nice, but do you think that these visual upgrades that they mentioned in the inbox message, do you think this is just another nice change, another nice visual thing that they get added for players, or do you think this is just more nickeling diming of the players to, because they say you have to use your costume credit to change these?
Oh, geez. It's just another way for them to make money. I mean, come on.
All right. Yeah, they're not making enough money in costumes, so I'm glad they, at least at this point, I don't know what they're going to do. At least at this point, they haven't required it for certain things yet. But, you know, not only did we get costumes, we got some nice quality of life changes as well. We got one of the big things that wasn't mentioned in the blog was this right here. I'm actually covering this, so let me move this on the top. Where do I do that? Here we go. There we go. Okay, so look, the terms of service is actually missed. How many times have you accidentally hit that terms of service when it was right up in this section here, when it was right here?
More than you could. You constantly count. I think it was like a frequently visited page on my Safari on my phone. Okay, I mean it's just so bad.
I think most of the MSF players it's like one of your bookmarks for that. Not the bookmarks, but yeah, frequently visited pages because you go there so often. It's yeah, this was like a quality of life change that people have been asking for a while. That is huge. That is unannounced. So I think this is a good one. One that was announced though was the Armory 14 and 15 orbs, and I'm not sure where we can see those either. They're somewhere, but yeah, visually they look very, very similar as far as what the orbs look like. Like the 14 looks like this now. The 15 looks like this now. I think the problem that I had with the 14s and 15s, they looked very similar previously, and I think even with these changes, they still look very, very similar. Can you tell the difference just offhand?
Nope, not at all. I mean, I think not at all. I think they look identical. I will say though, I guess they made them look cooler because for a while they looked like they were just slapped in there, which I think they were. So
they look cool,
like, look cooler, right?
They do look cooler. They're still very hard to tell. I guess the 14, this line is going this way, up and down, and the 15 is going left to right, but it's still, if I'm looking at one, if I don't have them to reference each other, I'm looking at one, I'm like, what did I just get? I got to click on that thing. So I think they could have done a little better job with this, but I'm very happy with them moving the terms of service. One other thing that they did, they increased these dark promo credits. Where is the dark promo credit? I don't even see them right now, but there we go. Yeah, they increased the base that you could have of this. It used to be 1,500, now it's 2,000 for players that were trying to get the dark promo credits, because I think for the 3-star version of Ultimus or Ultron, you need 1,500, and I think for the 7-star version of Ultimus, you also need that 1,500. So people were capping over. Did you ever cap over with your dark promotion credits? Was this an issue for you?
It's not an issue for me because I never pull unless there's an increased percentage for a new character. I just have basically opted out of this dark promo thing. Like, they come when they come, but like Ultimus I don't use. He's level 1 in my account, and Ultron, like I don't really use him much anymore. He's okay. I kind of use him occasionally in war, but he's just not important anymore. So I'm going to focus my red star orbs on the new characters. I mean, it's like
their selection for the costumes. The dark promotion credits, they choose it the same way. The characters we don't use, that's who's going to get the promo credits. That's who's going to get the costumes.
Yeah, if you want me to blow my red star orbs, Scopely, make it so I can upgrade Doom or something. Jesus.
Oh, that would be good. I think people would be saving for that one. Maybe that's why they increased it, because people aren't buying Ultron and Ultimus. They're saving for Doom, and they want to store more. We got a pretty good character get farmable, Iceman. And important part of this Axemen team, and he is available right now. I forget what he's available on. Villain 7-9. And one of the characters got moved. Ironheart got moved into the Blitz store. Who is Iron Man being farmable? Who is that going to benefit most? The new players, mid-game players, end-game players? Who needs this farmability of Iceman?
I think it's definitely going to be newer players, because one question I get a lot, Valley. I don't know if you get this question, is what's the best team for Ultimate 7? I get asked this a lot, and there's a lot of newer players that are
BKT.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of newer players. It's like they're asking me, they'll ask me, is Infinity Watch or Axeman better for Ultimate 7? I'm like, guys, I don't run Ultimate 7 anymore. I don't know. I'm sure they're both going to steamroll Ultimate 7, but the point is, there are newer players right now who are trying to make an Axeman team so they can get through Ultimate 7.2 or 3 or wherever their alliance is at. And I think for them, just having this character, he's a character you don't need to have large. Actually, when he gets lower, he's very survivable with the revive, and then when he goes lower in speed bar, he actually or lower in health, he actually generates speed bar for beasts, which can be a good thing. So I actually think I hope that this is going to help new players build that team.
I think it will. Have you experienced the Axeman without Jubilee though? Is this still viable if her event's not coming around enough? Are new players able to really chase this team if they can't get all their Pim Tech characters?
Nope. I'm just being very blunt with you. Jubilee, they made it. So they didn't do this with Adam Warlock, but with Jubilee, they basically made it like, if you don't have Jubilee, the team doesn't really run very well. It's like the Brotherhood without Magneto. She's the one who gives that turn meter every time they kill a character. She's the one who does generate that speed bar for Beast. Like, she just does, she gives, I think, stats to the entire team. It's just very, very, very hard to run the team without Jubilee. So my advice to new players would be, if you don't have Jubilee and you're not going to get her sometime soon, don't worry too much about the Axemen and just focus on a team you can get, like maybe those 4 Infinity Watch members or some other team, X Factor or something else.
I like that. Yeah, Jubilee, I think, makes a big difference. But hopefully they'll bring her event back more often. Players could get this team, solve the raids for a lot of the newer and mid-game players. One thing that we have going on right now that you mentioned earlier is this event, this target acquired in this website, this Black Widow event with some pretty good rewards. We didn't talk about this because this was after the stuff on the news, but What are your impressions of this event? How impressed with this event were you, considering what Moondragon was?
Oh, this is a lot of free stuff. I mean, if you are playing the game now, I've had some newer players ask me, how important is this stuff in the milestones? I'm like, huge. Like, it's almost priceless stuff, right? These Elite Sixes, don't they charge like $100 for those?
Yeah, this is $75 this is thousands of dollars they're giving away right here in this event.
In Scopely world, yeah. I mean, it's insane. Gold promos, blue ISO, ions, all right? I mean, that stuff costs a fortune. So all these armory orbs, it's huge. Tons of orange gear. I mean, this is really, it's a very, very good event. And if you weren't playing this month, you lose out on all this stuff. So I don't know if this is their answer to a new game coming out that they're competing against, or their answers to our cries and our anger. I don't know what it is, but very, very hard to find any issue with this event.
Maybe it's like the perfect storm of all the bad decisions and Future Rev coming out. But there was a problem with this event, though. As good as it is, when it was launched, there was a problem with it. There was some fully crafted pieces, which were advertised as being in here in the previous blog post, but I guess they weren't supposed to be. This event was taken down. Some people were not getting credit for their orbs. They were supposed to get compensation. Some people got this in-game, or one of the people on the chat this morning sent me this in-game message. Thanks for your patience, understanding regarding the Web of Spies milestone event. We would like to update you. While we do not have a specific date on the compensation be sent out for affected players during the time that the milestone and the hidden threads orbs were taken down on Friday, July 2nd. Rest assured that it will be sent for now. Please do continue to stay tuned for your inbox and the official website. So were you affected by the I guess when they took this event down, the orb opening of this event?
I was not. I don't think I was as on the ball as some other people. I know other people were. They were upset about it. So I was a little late getting to it. I was busy moving and stuff. So I didn't get to it, but I do think it's an issue. They really need to turn around compensation for players a lot sooner.
I agree. So we'll see what it is, and hopefully everybody that's affected gets made whole by this event. All right, another good thing. Finally, Doom First Strike was brought back. Another awesome thing that if they left this in 5.4, not a lot of anger from the community, but it is finally back. At this point, we've had 5 weeks of people prepping the roster for ISO 8, getting this ready. from what you're hearing in your community, does this Doom First Strike help anybody at this point? Any of the alliances?
Not really. I mean, there's one alliance that I give advice to that has been trying to move over to Doom 1, like a newer player alliance, and they were happy this was coming back because they can get their members to practice on this one while they kind of they've been trying to do like attempts on Doom 1, but until they get enough people with ISO, they weren't hitting 30%. So this way they can run this the other days just to get everyone used to the node. So I do think it has some use. I think this is mostly kind of a too late way. It's like, when you upset your significant other and then you're like trying to say you're sorry and stuff later, it's just not quite the same, right? And I think that's the case here. Like you said, people have already made their investment and made their choice.
Yeah, I mean, if they had this, not even if this wasn't right when 5.4 dropped, if they had this go back live the same week that 5.4 was announced, I think a lot less players would have quit, would have been upset. But yeah, I don't know what this does at the time. I'm glad they're doing this. I don't know who this helps at this point though. And another thing that they finally fixed is this percent gain, these percent. Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, Jessica Jones, Mr. Fantastic were getting a flat increase in their focus for their attacks instead of a percent increase. The combat behavior has been adjusted to match the description, resulting in a percent increase. I mean, it's only been about a year since this bug has been announced and fixed, and they fixed it for some of the characters, but not the rest. Finally, they fixed the rest. What was your reaction when you saw this is finally getting fixed?
It tells you that Scopely now realizes that Phoenix is out of the meta. Like, I think for a while, I think they didn't fix this purposely because they clearly knew about the issue. It was raised so many times by players, and they refused to fix it. And I think in their bizarro world, that Phoenix would have been too OP if they had fixed it to look like it was supposed to be in game. And so they left it in, and now they're like, oh, no one uses Phoenix anymore. I guess we better, fix her ability. I
guess we can make it a reoccurring legendary event now. All right, let's do a spoiler warning. Loki did come out. Did you see episode 4?
I did. I've not seen 5 yet. I have seen.
I did see 5. I don't want to discuss 5 because I know some of the community has not seen 5 yet. And let me switch this cam for you. There we go. That looks a little better. All right, we're gonna discuss episode 4. If you have not seen episode 4 from last week, we're gonna discuss everything up until the end of episode 4, including the mid-credit scene. We're not gonna discuss episode 5 that came out yesterday, so no spoilers for that. So let's just start with it. What was your reaction to episode 4? What did you think when you saw that?
Man, I was absolutely blown away. I mean, first of all, what's up with the timekeepers being like crappy robots? It's like the Wizard of Oz or something. I didn't expect that. That was like totally out of the blue for me.
I wasn't even expecting to see them. And what was up with them looking like Chuck E. Cheese dolls? I thought we were going to see the villain that a lot of people were suspecting right there. I didn't think we were going to see these big. I didn't think they were real. I didn't think they were real actually. And then they cut off the head like, oh, they're not real. So.
Wow, you're smarter than I am. I also did not expect a Mobius and what happened to him. I mean, wasn't that shocking as well?
It was very, very shocking. Now, did you see the post-credit scene?
Yes, I did. And that was bizarre, right? It looks to me like, I guess the people who get what do they call it? Taken away. They basically don't die.
Like stitched, not stitched. Purge. Is it called purge? I think that's the wrong name. Anyway, I know what you mean. I know what the yellow thing. The yellow thing they do.
When you get hit with the stick. I always thought they just killed them. I thought that was like a happy euphemism, a nice sounding euphemism for we're gonna kill you. Yes. But actually, maybe they send you to like a snow globe world or something. That was my thought.
All right, so I saw episode 5. I know what's gonna happen. What do you think is happening to Loki? What do you think is happening to Mobius? What do you think that world is?
Yeah, I think it's some sort of, that's what I was thinking, like a snow globe, like some sort of bizarre cage. Okay. Like where they're in like some pocket reality. It reminds me of there was like some I remember there was a episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where like they put some evil hologram in like a box, like it was like a computer chip where, you know, there's a bazillion worlds inside of this virtual reality box, and he kind of lives in there and doesn't know better. And I think they just take all the Lokis and dump them into this pocket reality where they can't cause any mischief.
All right, so some people were saying that maybe the TVA is inside the quantum realm, because in Ant-Man and Wasp, we saw a little like thing that might have been the TVA. Do you think that there's something to do with the quantum realm and the TVA, and maybe they're inside, or maybe they're sending them to somewhere inside the quantum realm? What was your suspicions when you saw that part?
Wow, that's a lot smarter than me. I didn't even make that connection.
I'm watching a lot of videos. I'm watching a lot of external videos on this. So it's not my insight. It's other people's insight that I'm that's getting implanted into my brain. So
okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, I
can't take credit for that.
Well, I guess what I would just say about that is, yeah, it does make some sense, because obviously the quantum realm was involved in the time travel, right, in Endgame. That's interesting. That kind of makes a little bit of sense to me. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I definitely can see the connection there, and that would actually be a cool callback. And aren't we going to have another Ant-Man and Wasp movie coming out?
Yeah, the Quantumania. So it looks very fun, and I think a lot of people are making ties with that movie. One of the people that's been announced in this one. All right, but I don't want to say too much. I don't want to accidentally say something. But let me get your thoughts on that next event that occurred very early on in the episode with between Loki and Sylvie. What do you think is going to happen between them?
Wow, I thought that was really, really interesting. I got to tell you, I don't. I think it's cool in a way, because they both come out as sort of ambiguous, right? They said that they both they kind of go both ways in terms of partners and what they like, and then they ended up falling for each other. I thought it was actually really cool. It was something unexpected in the episode. What happens? I don't know. I think that they're not gonna work together. I don't think two Lokis can ever work together, and I think that'll be maybe something they'll realize later on.
All right. Well, you will see what happened when you watch episode 5. And if you guys haven't seen episode 5, you will see what happens. And we will cover episode 5, discussing that next week on the news update. But you know what I want to discuss with you now, Philosopher?
What's that?
The data mines. We got a lot of data mines. All right. So last week in the blog post, and it's since been taken down, but we got evidence, where we got we were discussed was this sweepstakes that was supposed to be coming. We were supposed to already have inbox message, but I guess that's supposed to be this week. And so let me just read this real quick and get your reaction to it. Official sweepstakes website. Enter your PID for a chance to win big rewards. One winner will win a 7-star version with 5 red stars for Black Widow, Taskmaster, Red Guardian, Yelena, and 20,000 power cores, and early access to the Taskmaster costume, which is mentioned in the data mine, which is not in the game yet. So maybe that's sometime in 5.6, or it is in this update and it's just not in the game. Second place winners, you're gonna get 5-star version and 10,000 power cores with a 4 red star version, and then 80 winners, the runners up, 3-star version of all those characters, 3 red star version, and then 5,000 power cores. Is this is this in celebration for the Black Widow movie that's coming out, or is this just some hey, have some power cores? Let's try to get more users into this. What do you think this means, or is this just something nice to the community?
It's the tie-in with the movie, I think.
All right,
and I gotta tell you, skipped the only line that made any impact on me, which is everyone who enters is guaranteed to receive 5 red star orbs. So basically that's the one thing that will pique my interest. These lotteries are always a sort of, I would say, a scam, but it's just like, I mean, there's like probably 500,000 people playing this game, and however many, 101 of them are going to win. So I'm more happy that me, who will not win, will at least get some 5 orbs out of it. I'll take it.
You know what? I didn't even notice this part. So yeah, that's everybody's getting 5 red star orbs. I like that.
I'll take that.
All right. So you're getting good stuff. I guess this is going to come up in an inbox maybe later today or sometime tomorrow. Hopefully before the blog post this time. Next thing, we got information about the battle pass. We got the current battle pass with Misty Knight ending tomorrow. Next character in the battle pass is Bishop, and you mentioned Iceman being a very important part of this Axemen team. Is this? Do you think this is going to entice people to buy more than Misty Knight did?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Heroes for Hire war defense team. My advice to people was, unless you're an end game player who was done with DD 4 months ago, just skip this team. Whereas Bishop, Axemen is a team that they're not only very good and they're very, very important for the mutant nodes in the Doom Raid, but I think for whatever reason, like players just fell in love with the team. I mean, it's gotten way more hype than it merited in terms of power level. I just think people like this team a lot. And one barrier for people with this team is Bishop, because he's not available, and he really needs to be the biggest member on the team, or very large, to get those killing blows. He's the damager on the team and the guy who takes the damage, the tank. So you really want to have a big Bishop. So I'm really happy players are going to get some more shards.
Yeah, I like this. This is a great choice. They should have done this last month, not the Misty Knight thing. But how valuable do you think Bishop and Jubilee are as a two-piece? A lot of people are talking about the three-piece with Bishop, Jubilee, and Beast. Do you think that there's value with the two-piece with Jubilee and just Bishop?
A lot of people theorize that those two are going to have a lot of value, and it just has not come to be. In other words, they're very good. It depends on what you mean. Like if you're a newer player and you happen to get those characters, can you throw them in your arena team and they'll have some value? Sure, but I don't think they've ever been the top of the meta and so forth. And it's just because if you hit Bishop, then he loses his taunt, and then you can just use whatever control or whatever you're going to use to control the rest of the team. But look, they're very good. Obviously, Axemen are a very good team. People think that they're great and are using them all over the place. So you don't need me to hype Bishop at all.
Just basically Axemen available. If you got shards, get their shards. That's the
exactly.
All right. We have a new blog that's going to become available tomorrow, and it looks like this is what's going to be included. The Maria Hill abilities, which were revealed early this week, some weekly events, but this is the interesting stuff. Blitz store update. Now, what do you think needs to be changed in the Blitz store? And what do you think Scopely's going to do to the Blitz store?
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say. It's easier to say the latter, right? What needs to be changed is for all of us veterans who have many thousands of Blitz credits built up. We need something that's worth spending them on other than the war stuff, right? We all spend it on the boosts and the war energy, but other than that, we have really nothing to spend them on. But what they're going to do, this is my prediction, they're going to make it like the arena store, right? Which no one is that excited about.
No!
Right? Increase prices for the newer characters.
Don't do it, Scopely, please!
But don't you think? I mean,
hold on.
The future's the past, man.
2 months ago, 5.3, 5.5. Yeah, they're going to make it worse. Do you think that they've changed and are starting to listen to the community and not going to make it as bad as the arena store? And there was some positives with the arena. It wasn't all bad. But do you think they're going to make it like arena store with some good, some bad, or it's just going to be all good? Or I don't think they're going to make it all bad. But do you think that this time they've learned their lesson, they're going to make it all good?
There's an old saying, Valley. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't trust them on this one.
I'm crossing my fingers. I'm always crossing my fingers. I'm always expecting a little worse from Scopely. But yeah, and you said, let's just go to my roster now. Over 100,000 Blitz credits. I don't know what to do with them.
Right, and the catalysts are garbage. Those prices on those are absurd. You get
I never buy them. Well,
right, you'd buy like 50 catalysts and use up all 100,000 of your credits or something.
Yeah, so hopefully it's good. Let me know what you guys think the Blitz store needs, and let me know what you think Scopely is actually going to do. And last but not least, we had an avatar in the data mines from yesterday. It is this guy, Shang-Chi. I think a lot of people, as soon as they saw the trailer, were suspecting he's going to come to the game eventually. Cerebro had a comic of Shang-Chi in the background, the last Strike Time episode. I don't think it's a surprise that he's eventually coming to the game, but what are your thoughts that Shang-Chi is probably coming to the game sometime around September?
It's cool. I mean, look, it's a cool character. It's always nice when something ties into the movies, and I'm glad we can go to movies again. Yeah. So in the theater, so I'm all good. I'm all good with it. I think, you got to think he's probably going to be a fifth for Heroes for Hire, and I just hope he makes that team viable in something other than war defense.
I'm actually hoping Secret Avengers. I know it is a little more outside the box, but I'm hoping Secret Avengers. But unfortunately, Heroes for Hire just makes a little more sense. I just don't want more war defensive characters.
Exactly.
All right, but that is it, my brother. Any other thoughts before you go? What are you feeling about Marvel Strike Force right now? A little better than before this patch was updated? Same or worse?
Yeah, look, the game I think is actually, here's one thing, that it's very vibrant for new players. It's been very vibrant for a lot of free to play players. They've gotten a lot that's made them happy. I think that it's not, there's been a lot of gloom and doom on some camps, but I think that a lot of people are having a lot of fun with this game, and it's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm still having fun in a lot of game modes. Not as much as I was previously, but I'm hoping they will come back. And there's still fun to be had. And if, I hope you guys are having fun. Let everybody know where they could find you, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you there's probably links below to my YouTube, my Discord, my Twitch stream. I stream most weeknights, and you can always check out my Discord, my YouTube channel.
Check them out, guys. A lot of awesome content, a lot of tips for players, new, mid-game, end-game, and he has one of the larger rosters there. So yes, he has a lot of first-hand experience. So make sure you check out the links, check him out. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for stopping by and watching the weekly news update. It is always fun. Philosopher, it's always fun chatting with you, my brother. We gotta hang out sometime down the road. But that is it for now. Give me that fist bump before you go. I can't see your fist because I don't have a camera on you. So have a great rest of your day, guys. I will see you guys next time. Philosopher and ValleyFlyin out. The Philosophizer and the Googleizer teaming up today.